Hi there, welcome back to 3R Guitars. So here's the neck we glued the fretboard on yesterday. I'm very happy with the way it went on, and like I say, for a guitar I would have made, like, I've got a clamping caul to put over, a piece of wood basically with raised edges to do the neck. This has come out fine, I think. Just with a normal bit of wood over the top. So basically what we've got now is the neck to a square shape, so we can trim the edges trim the edges of the neck to the fretboard, and it will be about the right width, ready to start shaping it. That was quite a simple task, just to get it down to roughly. I mean, I've sawn it down to at least a millimetre away from the edge of the fretboard, so there's filing space there and stuff. The next thing I want to do is when I first marked out the neck and cut it, I've cut this ridiculously thick heel on there, and I want to obviously trim that down quite a lot. So that's one thing I'll work on, but I think I'll wait. I'll put it in the body for that and try and come up with a nice shape, because I want to do a different. I want to do a more traditional heel than is done on the instrument originally. I think the heel looks very cumbersome on the original instrument, so I'd like to keep a typical guitar neck heel sort of thing arrangement, so should be all good with that. Here's the original neck heel I was talking about. I mean, I just think that looks almost a bit comical, really, and I don't want to go for that at all. Equally with this instrument, the fretboard was flat on the body, and like I've said plenty of times, we're going for more of a modern look than that. So here's the neck actually now in place on the instrument, and we can see the neck extension here. And what I want to do now is this actually it only contacts the top of the body for, say, the first, I don't know, I'd say 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and then comes away from the top. I mean, it's meant to obviously aid vibration of the top kind of thing. I mean, I don't think it makes a lot of difference, but that's how archtop guitars are done. So what I want to do now is thin this neck extension down, so this first 1/2 inch stays in contact with the body, and then it rises above, sort of thing. So we'll tackle that next. Okay, well I've got the neck in place now, with the neck joint done how I want it, and this is one of the most difficult parts of making these things. You know, any guitar or instrument with a set neck. So it's in line that way. You know, you can see by these gaps here, which is quite nice. You've got to also think of the neck tilting back angle, and here we've got the bridge in place, and then if we put a get it somewhere in the center, and if we put a thing over there, we've got like just about the right bridge height. I'm going to have to lower the bridge a fraction. I'm not going to change the neck angle to compensate for that, but I mean I've got plenty of room on the bridge just to lower the foot of the bridge a little bit, but that might be perfect by the time you've got string slots in the bridge. Then you've got that angle. If you put fretboard across there, you want that angle right. You know, I think we're about right. I mean, my neck joint isn't perfect. You can see, you know, you can see the joint there, near enough with that, I think. And the joint this side I've actually got slightly wrong, because I can slip a veneer underneath that part there. Now I'm not going to fettle it so the neck goes even lower. I'm happy where the neck is. Just have to admit that that's a bit of a repair that I'll have to do. But that's it. And what you've got now with the neck overhang, you have it contacting the top for about the first 3/4 of an inch, and then you can see a gap underneath it. You can see a gap underneath it as it flies over the top of the soundboard and over the sound hole here. So I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I could go on for a long time trying to make it absolutely perfect, but sometimes you're just chasing your tail with it, and you know, you can end up making it worse. The important thing is to get the neck with those angles that I said in the right place. So I'm happy with that now, and now what I'll do is I'll tidy up these ends and stuff, make them look nice. It's like I say, doing a neck joint like this, it's just taking off fractions at a time, and you know, try and find out where the problem area is. Don't just go hacking away at it, sort of thing. And quite often you can find just a little burr in the wood or something, shave that off and everything goes on well. It's just one of those things, but little slowly sort of thing, and you will get there. But the most important thing is, don't worry about a sloppy dovetail joint. You can always shim those, no problem. It's just you've got to get the neck in the right place, otherwise it looks awful, and you know, you'll be fighting errors down the line then as well. So there we go. I'll tidy up the end of the neck here now, and that'll be that. Well, another day's work over with. Pub night tonight, so we'll have a sit down first. So yeah, we've done the neck, we've got that in place. Just underneath here you can see a sneak preview of the back. I'm actually like really pleased with this bit of wood. I mean, okay, it's got a few holes in it because it was an old shelf and stuff, but I can fill those. But it's very hard, and it's kind of what you need for a back to give good reflection to the front. And you know, you can hear it's got quite a ring to it, so I'm quite looking forward to getting this down to thickness. I mean, I've started carving the inside. I mean, I haven't documented any of it really, because it's exactly the same as the top. So I guess we've got a top and back for the instrument now. We can start seeing it taking shape. I mean, this is how I tend to build all my instruments, kind of in kit form anyway, because if I stay to doing one task for too long, I'll get a bit bored, so I'll be hacking away at the back of it, doing a bit to the neck and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's actually starting to look quite cute now, and I was a bit worried about the lyre arms being in the way when you play it, but they're not at all. Actually, there's plenty of room around the neck, and well, what an unusual thing. So I'm actually at that stage now where I haven't got any anxiety building it. I'm quite happy that you know, it's going to turn out and be able to perform somewhat as a musical instrument, so that's good. And again, I'll be continuing on bits and pieces all over it. One thing I've definitely decided I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these off along here, just on this inner line there, cut them all off and make them out of just one piece of wood that I can glue on. I think finishing inside here and stuff would just be really difficult, and even when you look at pictures of the original, it does look a bit messy inside there. So I think gluing, you know, having the correct direction of grain for these things and just gluing a plate on effectively means I can make all four of them exactly the same, so I won't have any bother with that. I've thought about it, but you know, you've also got the mirror image on here, and I've broken one off down there as it is, so I can cut that off, cut that off, do all these nice curves in the top with plenty of room, and then just glue new ones on. So I think we'll be good with that, and thank you very much. Okay, next day, welcome back to 3R Guitars in this Orville Gibson Lyre Mandolin build. When we did the neck joint, like I said, I think my quote was there's no shame in making the neck joint a bit loose initially, just to get the position of the neck, because that's the most important thing. So mine was a little bit loose, and as I said, what I do, I actually glued some very thin half millimeter or something veneer to each side of the dovetail, and just over the last half an hour I've been fettling it fraction by fraction down, and now I think you can see from this that the neck joint now is a really good fit. You know, it's just absolutely fine now. Yeah, I can't ever recall getting a dovetail joint perfect first time. Probably just me. But when, like I say, when you've got to consider the angle of the neck sloping that way, this way, oh god, it's like a nightmare basically. So, and still, you know, it's not perfect because I need to add some little shims of wood on this side, just underneath the neck extension here. You know, it doesn't, one side fits fine, the other doesn't. I don't know why, but we're there or thereabouts with it, which is really good. So I'm happy with it now, and we can move on to the next bit. With this instrument, the one thing obviously that you've got to do is basically almost completely finish the neck before it's installed, because where it's installed between the lyre arms, you know, you're not going to be able to get planes, scrapers and whatnot through to it. So I don't know what I fancy doing today. Like I say, I build these in a kit thing anyway and do what tickles my fancy on the day, sort of thing. I'm going to get decorating the headstock. Now the two instruments, one looked like that, which I'm not really copying this instrument. I'm copying this one, sort of thing, because it's got better records, sort of thing, on the internet to it, so I know what I'm doing with that. But that was one design of the headstock, and in this one I didn't particularly like it so much as the other one. Plus it's got these stays which run across the back of the headstock, and I think that looks really ugly. So I'm going for this headstock on this instrument, which I actually think is really pretty. So what I'm going to do now is mark out the bumps round here and things. I'm not looking forward to cutting those scrolls, sort of thing. I haven't really got any tools to do that, but we'll see what we can do. So in my past life, I was a draftsman, probably the only job I've ever bloody enjoyed. But I can use these to do the lumps round there, and so I'll get marking out that and get weaving. Well, I've marked out the headstock, sort of flowery shape kind of thing. So I'll get sawing that up. I mean, it always gets a bit awkward working on a neck, you know, when it's in like its 3D shape, sort of thing. And obviously with the headstock you can't get it flat down on the table, so I just put a bit of wood there. And what I'll do is I'll just start sawing these flowery bits out, and we'll see how it goes. Well, there's a start done on it. With the bandsaw, you can almost use the blade like sideways by just moving the wood across it like that to kind of almost like grind the shape out, sort of thing. But I mean, very loosely done, just really to give me a start. And now I think it's just a question of spending a lot of time filing them out, sort of thing. I think that'll be my favoured route of doing it. Well, that didn't take long actually. I was quite pleased. I thought I was going to be here for hours doing that, but there's the basic headstock done now. I've still got the scrolls to cut in here, and I haven't really got the tool to do that, or I've got a really crappy coping saw, but I'll try and set it up to do that. But yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with that. My weapon of choice was one of these little chemically hardened Japanese files. I bought a couple of them, a square one and a curved one from Crimson Guitars, and they, you know, got them out of the pack when I got it. I thought, they're a bit small and whatever, but one of those tools that is never too far away, sort of thing, using it a lot of the time to get stuff done. So what I'll do now is I'll get my coping saw out, or crappy thing is, and we'll have a go at these scrolls, which, yeah, cross fingers. Well, here's me coping saw, and let's have a go at cutting these little scrolls. Ah, well, let's have a look then, see what we got. I guess they're not too bad, are they? Let's go and get a picture of the original and have a look. There's what we start, that's what we're aiming for, and here's what we've got. We've obviously got to go round a bit more. I'll have to put the blade in upside down for that. So yeah, let's carry on. Well, there we go. Now, they're not perfectly symmetrical, but I'm not really adverse to that. I quite like the handmade look kind of thing. Sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but actually, yeah, I do like that. And if you'd have asked me before I'd started doing the end of the headstock, this is how it's going to look, I'd go, yeah, I'll take that, you know. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that actually. That's quite cute looking, I think. I mean, by the time you get I think Mr. Orville Gibson was rather better at me than doing it, but I think by the time you get the star and the moon on it and the fancy veneer on the top and stuff, I think we're going to be I'm well chuffed with that. I think it looks rather nice. So I'll get these ones done around here, and then yeah, we're kind of halfway done on the headstock face. Well, here we go. There's the whole thing, like kind of some way towards being the right shape. So and like I say, I don't think it's quite a long way off the Gibson quality, but I think I'm actually quite pleased with it. It's not the sort of thing that that I would normally be doing, so I think there's plenty to work with there, sort of thing. So I'm quite pleased with that, and don't know what I'm doing next now. We'll have a think about it. So anyway, headstock, some way to be in the right shape. Well, I've been investing a bit of time in continuing with carving this back, and I must admit I'm quite excited about this bit of wood. I don't know if you can hear it. I mean, you can see the thing like wobbling, and I've got it now to like a thickness where, you know, when you're carving it, you can tell you're getting there when, you know, you can actually press down. You know, you can press down on the top and you can actually feel it on the back, and you can feel it actually move. So I'm getting quite pleased with that now. I mean, don't worry about these feet on here. I'll be cutting them off and putting new feet, heads, swan heads, whatever they are, but putting new bits on here, just on the end. So when I've got the whole thing together, I can just put one plate over the whole foot, and I can shape them off the instrument and then glue them on. It's going to be a lot better. But I'm actually yeah, I don't really know how much time, you know, to invest in making the inside absolutely perfect and you know, sanded and everything like that. I mean, the trouble is, this is an interest project, as it were, for me. You know, I've got customers' guitars I've got to do, and keep forgetting about those and ending up doing this all the time. So it really, you know, I want to finish projects and move on and build something else. That's how I like to do things. I don't like to, you know, fuss over one particular project and you know, keep changing things, doing things better, this, that and the other. I mean, in my view, you get better at making musical instruments by the more you make, sort of thing. You know, your next one, if I make another one of these, it will be better than this one. That's just how it goes. So I'm not sure how much time I'll spend. I mean, it's not going to be, you know, once this body is together, sort of thing, you know, no one's ever going to see the inside of these lyre arms, and it's not going to make any difference if they sanded to like a, you know, to like the nth degree to improve the finish inside. I mean, it's just one of those things, how far do you go, sort of thing. I'm going to spend more time thinning this down in this area, and then we'll start, I suppose we could start thinking about gluing the body together then. Hockey doke. Well, I took the plunge finally. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking about it for probably a week on and off, what to do about these swan neck things, and in the end I just went, oh bollocks, cut them off and glue ends on. I mean, I couldn't come to any conclusion about what was better, so I've chopped the feet off these now, on all four edges, and I'm really pleased I did, because as you can see, well, you can't really see, but I've got like a perfect edge now there, and what I can basically do is just, you know, make like four identical feet or matching pair of feet, and then glue them on, kind of finished, ready for final sanding, if you like. But what it does allow me now, I can get any amount of tools in there and finish off some like nasty edges that I couldn't get to before. And so I think, yeah, I'm really pleased I took that on, and you know, I can sand all inside here properly now, and things, it's just so much better, and all these look nice and even and everything, so I can make some nice ends kind of thing, and I think that's a much better job. Even when you look at the pictures of the original, I've got some close-ups of these swan neck areas, and they look a bit messy. I don't particularly like seeing the different kinds of wood in there anyway, and it's like end grain, so you know, when you come to put like lacquer on it, or however you're finishing it, it's a bit of a nightmare. You know, you'd have to get loads of coats in there and sand and everything, and just, so you get some nice bits of maple on there, I think, with the grain running how it should, and yeah, I think that'll make a much better job. So yeah, I can get on and start sanding now, so it's brilliant. I mean, I even had like these little bits, you know, here, which are really messy, that I just couldn't get to before, so I think I'm a lot happier with that. So here we go. Hi, welcome back. 3R Guitars again, doing this Lyre Mandolin. Yesterday we shaped the headstock kind of thing, so that's sort of done, but far from finished yet. The next thing I want to do is put a veneer over the front, which is like a typical thing Gibson did anyway. There are thoughts that I mean, I have read that some builders also veneer the back as well, because they say veneer in the front will cause the headstock to kind of cup a little bit. Yeah, I don't like a veneered back to the headstock. You've always got the problem of where do you run it into the neck, and some people put a point down the neck and things like that down here with the veneer and whatnot, and I don't know, it always looks like the guitars had a headstock repair to me. I mean, Gibson as well, if they had a bit of an untidy neck heel carve, they do what they called their stinger headstock, where they painted the back black and put a V down the neck kind of thing. And again, I always think that looks like a headstock repair. So I only ever veneer the front, but I have to say I've never had a headstock cup like that kind of thing, like they say, where the sides bend up sort of thing. But this is a really wide headstock, so just going to have to like risk it and see. I've had these bits of quite attractive book matched veneer for quite a while, just lying around the shed here. I'm pretty sure it's a walnut, but something like this would have been cut from a plank and then what they call book matched kind of thing, and that's what they mean by book matched, kind of obvious. It's a question really of sliding it up and down the headstock and deciding where you want the pattern. I quite like that sharp V at the top. I wouldn't mind that actually being at the top there. However, you know, attractive this bit is out here, wherever it is on the headstock, we're never gonna get that kind of in the width of the headstock. Yeah, it would look a bit odd. So I don't know, I'm just going to slide it around a bit and decide where I want that to be, and then we'll go from there. I mean, yeah, it's a difficult one really. It's not ideal, but you know, we'll go from there. I mean, the original had quite an attractive veneer on the headstock, as you can see, sort of a flame going up it sort of thing, which is quite nice. So I'd like something similar, you know, something fancy on there. So I'll have a play around and see where we get. Cheers. Well, in the end, that's what I've sort of come up with there. When I was actually looking at the and I talked about putting the point of that veneer up by the top, I had a lot of this fairly plain grained wood there, and then I played around, so I thought I'd get as much of the fanciness in there as possible, so it's got quite a nice look. So you've got this wide bit at the top narrowing down, which kind of follows the headstock shape. So I think that's actually quite attractive like that. This is quite a bugger to glue on, I think. I'm never that keen on gluing veneers on. I mean, and this veneer is really quite stiff, and it's quite buckled. You can actually see, you know, where it's cut from on the tree, because you can see, you know, like through a branch there, and there's another branch here. So it's obviously like at the confluence of this fancy bit is obviously the confluence between like the fork between two branches sort of thing. Quite interesting. But what you've got, I've had success with gluing veneer on where you paint wood glue on both sides and then iron it down. That's doable, but the glue never seems to stick as well as being left to its own devices to harden. So what I tend to do is, you know, you've got to get the joint as good as you can, which is sometimes not very easy on thin stuff like this, especially when it's like quite wobbly like this. But you can tape the two bits of veneer together, and then put a clamping caul over it, just a bit of wood really, but you need a cushion between the veneer and the wood, so it gets pressed down, gets an even pressure on it. Plus the fact you need a sheet of polythene as well, something that will stop the glue, because the glue will soak through the veneer and end up sticking to your clamping caul and making a mess. So when I get a bit closer, I'll get you in for another video. Yeah, so neck, I've sellotaped or masking taped the veneer together on the joint, and you can see like it's such a wobbly bit of wood, and quite hard actually, you know, it's very springy. So here's the end of the neck. I've cut this just a whole bit of plywood out and glued a bit of very soft foam to the back. Good stuff to use for this, as it's instant. As you know, you get the spray cans of carpet glue or upholstery glue. Just make quick work of that. Believe me, doing this will save you a lot of grief when you come to gluing this veneer on, and it's going to be a pain anyway. And then we'll put a sheet of polythene between. Got a sheet of polythene there, just an old bag, between that and the headstock to stop it sticking to the veneer when it's done. So let's get on and glue that on. Again, 1001 clamps needed, but let's give it a go. I say, I mean, you could, well, no, you can't use, but I mean, you know, the instant choice of glue for veneer, I suppose, because of the ease of it all, is would be an impact adhesive like Evo Stick, or like I say, that carpet glue. But don't even attempt it. I mean, it may look all right for like a few days, but you'll find out that down the road it'll start ungluing itself, especially if there's a bit of heat involved. As it is, I find this job just a really awkward one. Yeah, I think we're okay with that now. You can see round the edge there I've got really good squeeze out of glue around the veneer all the way around, so I'm happy with that. Just hope that the centre join comes out really nice, but even when we start to trim that off, there'll probably be a few little chips come out of it. So, but with it being such a wild grain, we'll be able to fill it a little bit. So we'll leave that dry now, and my advice as well. I'd keep all these little bits of veneer. It's, you know, if you're doing like a rosette on a acoustic guitar or something, and just want a little bit, very small bit of attractive wood to shove in there, these sort of little bits can be really handy, and they're a nice colour. You know, if you've got a spruce top on a guitar, this is darker sort of thing. So, and it's matched, so you could take that fancy bit out of there, put it one side of the guitar, take that fancy bit out of there, just keep them aside, and you know, may come in useful. But there we go. So right, don't know what we're on to next now. I'll switch you off for a little while. Obviously we've got to leave that dry now. Probably leave that one overnight, and we'll get back to the body.